Okay. Pasuk opens up at the very beginning of the parsha. Vaeira came Moshe Vayomer Lov Ani Havaya Yud Kei Vav Kei Vaeira El Avram El Yitzchak Vel Yaakov Bekel Shakai Ushmi Havaya Lo Nodati Lehem V'Gam HaKimosi Espriti Thomas Sharas Kran Eis Erzko Ashagoba. Etc. So now Rashi, there's a few Rashis on this. So what's going on? I'm Havaya, but I appeared to the others as Kel Shakai, but the name Havaya, they didn't know me by. Even though we'll find that the others Hakdoshim throughout Sefer Bereshis knew the Shem Havaya. And Rashi will deal with that. So, Vayomer Lov Ani Hashem, I'm Yud Kei Vav Kei. Nemon L'Shalem Schar. Toiv L'Malchim L'Farei B'Tayim. Right? You could trust me to pay what you deserve. Right? I didn't send you for nothing, but it's rather that through you I'm going to fulfill my promise to the Avos. Let me find Ani Hashem after a mitzvah, Ani Hashem. Things are always, so Ani Hashem also means Neman Lipara. You can trust that I'll punish you. That's Kishomer Etzel Einish. Because V'chilat Hashem Elokecha, Ani Hashem, so it's Neman Lipara. Kishomer Etzel Kiyum HaMitzvahs, Kagom V'shvat Tzai V'asem Ani Hashem, Neman Litein Schar. All right? So, we'll ask a question already. Shem Havaya means Neman, that I'm going to give you what you deserve. My name is not Yud Kei Vav Kei. My name is Yochanan Beckhofer. Right? Right? Now listen, because my name is not Havaya, I don't have to pay someone what I own? What does it mean? Lo Yalel Adas, any upright human being, and Koshkein, someone who's above human, has to keep his commitments. Has to uphold the law, uphold his own law. Right? So Havaya, Shem Havaya is Neman L'Shalem Schar. Right? And us, our name's not what? You don't have to be trustworthy. Okay? It's a basic shlemus. It's a basic virtue, a very basic ethical value to pay a person what he deserves, and also to punish a person as he truly deserves. Otherwise, society will collapse if you're not going to enforce the law. So what's that? The Shem Havaya is Neman L'Shalem Schar. Okay, that's our first question on the first Rashi. Rashi goes on. Vaeira Avos Bekel Shakai. I appeared them with Kel Shakai. Ushmi Havaya Lo Nodati Lehem. Right? So Bekel Shakai. Hiftachdim Harbe Avtachos, meaning the promises I made with the divine name Kel Shakai. Ubekol Marti Lehem Ani Kel Shakai. And so Ushmi Havaya Lo Nodati Lehem. Lo dati enksiv kan el lo no dati. It doesn't say I didn't make them aware, meaning rather I was not known to them that way. Meaning Rashi's dealing with the question we asked that the others did know the name Yud Kei Vav Kei, but just lo nikarti lam b'mida misi. They didn't know that mida, my true mida, that's connected to Shem Havaya. They didn't know that mida. They knew the name, but they didn't see the mida that's connected to Shem Havaya Baruch Hu. The midah mitishli shaleh nikras Hashem, for which I am called Yud Kei Vav Kei. Nemon la'ames tvarai, then I could be trusted. Right? To uphold to make true my words. Sharif tachtim v'lo kiyamti, for I made them promises and I didn't keep the promises. Right? Right, and then the next Rashi goes through how. Right, he made all these promises with Kel Shakai, which were not yet fulfilled. Right? So what? Kel Shakai seemingly means, like a company writes limited liability. Right? Like someone's liable, whatever it is, it's not us. Right? Kel Shakai means limited liability. Right? Like we asked, it's a basic virtue, that you have to keep your promises or keep your commitments. But not only that, here is the point. Now let's take a look how Rashi learned. I'm going to look at 3 Kel Shakais in Bereshis and what Rashi says over there. All right? Here. And this is just a few, right? And you'll see it's basically the same drush over and over again. Vaeira Avram ben Tishara, Vatil Tishri, Vaeira Hashem el Avram, Vav Elov Ani Kel Shakai. He talked in front of Vaeira. I'm Kel Shakai. Walk before me and be wholesome. He's giving the tzivui of meal over here. Says Rashi on the words Kel Shakai. Aniu sheyesh dai velokusi lekobir. I have enough divinity to take care of any creature. Shakai sheyesh li dai. I got what it takes to help for any creature. Therefore, walk before me, and I will be your God and your patron. Meaning, I got what it takes. I can deliver. Meaning, so Adrabah, Kel Shakai means I got the goods. Right? Right? That's every time you find it, that Kosh Baruch Hu has what it takes. Dai Shalom. But of course, always you have to be mafarish in context. So now let's go here. Kim is to Yaakov Avinu. Ani Kel Shakai. Pray Urave. Kalu Goyim. Yeh Mimeka Umachim. Mechatzecha Yetzei. Now you're going to be a big nation. Ani Kel Shakai. Shani Kedai Levorech. Shabrach Shali. Shakai, that Miloshin Kedai. I got. Kosher says it's kedai for me to make the bracha. I got what it takes. So Shakai sounds ganz good. Even when Yaakov Avinu uses it, right? When he consents, finally agrees to send Binyamin. Yehuda talked him into it. He's going to send Binyamin. Right? So he says, "V'kel Shakai yiten lachem rachamim." Lifnei ish v'shilach lachem es achichem acher v'es Binyamin. Right? And Kel Shakai should give you rachamim before the man. He thought Yosef at this point was an Egyptian. Kel Shakai will give rachamim in the eyes of that man, and he'll send your other brother and Binyamin back. Right? So why would Yaakov use the name Kel Shakai? He should be using the name Vaeira, Rachamim, right? So it says Rashi, V'Kel Shakai, Shedai b'nesinas Rachamav, V'Kedai, Hayachos b'yodo litain. He has enough mercy. He's got what it takes. And he's Kedai, also Lashon Kedai, like the other Pshat, he's synthesized Lashon. He's got the power. He's got the Yachos b'yodo litain. Yitel chem Racham, Zeo Pshuto. So I just gave you the Kel Shakai is ganz fine. Kel Shakai is not lacking anything. They say Havaya is like the real meter where you're going to get what you deserve. In all the places he's talking about, he says God's making a promise to that name because I got what it takes. I got the goods. You can trust me. Right? Right? But that was the Pashup Pshat. Rashi says, so even Yaakov Avinu, when he needs Rachamim from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is going to use the name Kel Shakai. Because he's got it. He's got enough. He has died. He's got enough to measure up to the situation and make things right. Umidrasho, but Rashi says one more Pshat, invoking an interesting medrash. Mish Omar Lolam Odai, Yomar Dailet Sarosai. Shoshakati minu urai, Tzaras Lavan, Tzaras Esav, Tzaras Rachel, Tzaras Dina, Tzaras Yosef, Tzaras Shimon, Tzaras Binyamin. That Shakai, this medrash is referring to a Gemara in Chagiga. Gemara in Chagiga says that at the time of Brias Ha'olam, the world, HaKadosh was of infinite power. So at the time of Brias Ha'olam, the world was expanding infinitely. At Shagar Bahem HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'Amar Dai. Otherwise, the heavens and the earth would have been infinite. Not that HaKadosh screamed at them and said, die, and put them b'gvul and b'mida. So, coming off that Gemara, this Medrash wants to say that he was saying also, using the name Kel Shakai, that HaKadosh was Omar L'olamo die, so Yomar L'tzorosai, I shall say die to my tzaros, because I haven't had any rest since I was born. And that's also in a lot of kinusim, when we have kinus. the Kinus Tshuva, because it so happens, the Darshanim always end off with this lashon. Mi shomar le'olamo dai, yomer le'tzaro seinu dai. Right? And that's a very interesting nekuda to be oimed on. That the olam was expanding infinitely, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to give a ga'ara, die, and make it the world that we know, that as big as is, it has its gvulim. Why couldn't HaKadosh Baruch Hu just milachatchila create the world begvul? Why'd it have to be that way? That first was expanding out of control, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu was goyer and said die. Just like he could say die after was expanding, he could milachatchila. Okay. All right, so we're going to talk about it. Right? So now, so Rashi threw out a word.
It's still growing the world. It's still increasing in size very rapidly.
Yeah.
Is it like a whole machlokes now in science? If it's expanding, infinitely, or if it's
I thought it was
collapsing or something?
When I was in science, many years ago, I don't know, there might be new things.
They keep on changing their theory, I know.
But okay, actually, yeah. The point is, I'm good with it either way. As we're going to explain, whether the world is expanding or contracting. But Rashi said something that he said, that Shmiya Vaeira lo nodatem, my real midah ha-mitis shali, my real midah, and he says, and he explained like a line later why it's called real midah, because with this midah, ma'ames tevorai, I make what I say true. My real midah, my midah of emes, because with this midah I make whatever I say emes. All right. So I think there's a very, very fundamental point to start off with. What do we mean by emes? Is emes simply to not lie? All right? All right. When the Rambam writes, and this really is part of our regular Parshas Emor Shmuz, but we're not going to get into all of it right now. But when the Rambam writes Hilchos Yisodei HaTorah, right at the very beginning, right, all everything that exists came from his true existence. V'usha Navi Omer v'Hashem Elokim Emes. Kiu levado Emes. Right? Ve'en lacher Emes. Nothing is Emes like he's Emes. And that's what it says. Eino milvado, ein matsui emet kamoto. No true existence like him. What do you mean? This table is sheker? Right? The Rambam uses the term Emes regarding God as in contrast to all that exists and all that mamish exists. Not talking about fantasies. Talking about matter, energy, things that really exist. All those things relative to God are not called emes. God alone is the matsui emes. Calling into elamea mitas hemto. His mitzias is emes. Everything else comes from the true existence, which is him, but nothing is emes like he's emes. Right? That's what the Rambam says. All right. So emes, it's clear over there, and we also write about it in our Sefer, because the Rambam we just quoted from Hilchos Yisodei HaTorah run parallel to the Rambam's first Iker of the Yud Gimel Ikrim, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Mitzius Hashem. And the Rambam takes you on an exercise. He does that both in Yud Gimel Ikrim, and he does it also in the Yad. He says, if God wouldn't exist, nothing could exist. But if everything else would disappear, God wouldn't miss it. Right? Like, what does he want with that? Right? And that difference is called Matsui Emes. He's a Matsui Emes. Without him, nothing could exist, but he doesn't need anything else. Right? Everything needs him, but he doesn't need anything else. Right? So the way to say it in English is, the proper the proper word to use to capture the Rosh Hashanah is that emes doesn't mean truth. Emes means absolute. Absolute. All right. Now, falsehood is the opposite of absolute because it's what isn't. But you could tell the truth, right? But it's not an absolute truth. Why? Right? Because you could say that you plan to be here tomorrow at 9 p.m. let's say, and you have all the intention of doing so, but an oinus happened, right? And you didn't make it, right? You didn't lie. It's oinus, right? But your words were not absolute truth, because absolute means all the time, anywhere, no matter what.
That's more like a promise, though. That's an intention. Intention is supposed to always be frustrating.
All right. So now I'll make it a little bit more particular and get to the next point. In a business deal, right? So you make a certain deal of commitments, and he on the other end of the table, he makes his counter commitments. You're committed to other. These are the goods, and this is what's in exchange for the goods, and everyone's doing business in good faith. Deal goes sour. Right? Right? No one lied. No, necessarily. I mean, of course, one party could be honest, the other party could be dishonest. But I'm sure we have plenty of deals where they realize that there's something they didn't think of. So they have now a contention over that point that they didn't think of ahead of time. And he thinks, like this, and the deal falls apart. Right? All right? So even though everyone was telling the truth, but in the end, all those commitments didn't amount to anything. Right? Because they were true under certain pretenses, under certain assumptions. And once those assumptions were realized to be not true anymore, something changed. All right? So the deal falls apart because it was done under certain assumptions, and those assumptions came out to not be the case. That means all those commitments were not absolute. They're only totally in a certain set of conditions, X, Y, and Z. Right? Right? And in the end, nothing came of it because it was only true within those assumptions, and those assumptions came out to be false. No one lied, but still the deal is not binding. Right? The deal doesn't go through. Right? Right? So even though this guy had all the money and this guy had all the goods, right? There was no problem with the supply and the demand and the remuneration, but they thought it was a daita dahachi, and that das wasn't what came out to be. Right? The inyan of what HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, that the Shema Vaeira Baruch Hu, that's connected him, that's called Shema Etzem, that it refers to him, even though HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself has no name, like the Zohar says, we're not allowed to even imagine as any name, on a personal level, because a name would be a Geder, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't have a Geder, but that name refers to him, even though it doesn't capture him, but it refers to him. Right? He's an absolute existence, right? So when he's doing business with us, right? When he's doing business with us, right? And we have our end of the bargain. So now, is he doing with business with us on our level? Right, kach that, if we don't keep our end of the bargain, deal's off.
So when it's a bris is not a bris.
Right.
When there's a bris, does it depend on the other?
Right.
It also
Right.
depends on the other party.
That's what you would think, but not a bris that we have with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So now, the idea of ne'eman l'shalim schar, right? Ne'eman lipara, right? So we asked a simple question. Every ethical person has to keep their commitments. So the Shema Vaeira is ne'eman l'shalim schar, and ne'eman lipara, right? So I'll tell you what this means. And the Tomer Dvara, Rav Moshe Cordovero, the Tomer Dvara already dealt with this, right? That hayam min adin, that if you do a mitzvah, of course you deserve schar, right? But what happens if you do a whole bunch of Vaeiros after you did that mitzvah? Right? Right? So look, min hadin, HaKadosh Baruch Hu could say like this. Right? Like min hadin. Right, the Rosh Cordovero says this. Min hadin, like let's say it's sort of like I owe you $100, but then you borrowed from me 200. I'm not paying you back. You got to pay me, because the 200, the 100 I owe you is neutralized by the 200 you owe me. Now that after all that, you got to give me 100 even after all that. So how's it work? A guy does a bunch of mitzvahs, and he's got schar coming to him for his mitzvahs, right? Right? But he also did a whole bunch of averos. Why can't the HaKadosh Baruch Hu say, min hadin, I don't owe you schar anymore? He goes, I owe you 100, but now you did averos that you owe me 500. Say zeh bazeh, and then we'll see who picks up the whatever's left over after the end of cheshbon. Right? But it gets even more complicated than that. It gets a lot more complicated. And hear this well, right? That schar is a sliding scale. A Rasha that is not, he just doesn't have it in him to get to Olam Haba, he gets the schar of his mitzvahs in Olam Hazeh. Right? 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 And also in Olam Haba, you say mitzvahs deserve Olam Haba. There are levels in Olam Haba. Right? So you have a problem, but you did a mitzvah, right? And after that, you did a whole bunch of averos. So the question is, who owes who now? There's that. That's one aspect. But there's also another thing. You just dropped in madrega, right? That you can't go to the same place in Olam Haba that the schar was originally allotted to you for, because you're not roy for that place in Olam Haba anymore. You get a lower Olam Haba, or maybe you're not a ben Olam Haba at all after the averos that you did. Right? So what does HaKadosh Baruch Hu do? Nifla mod. You know what? He's berov rachamav v'chastav. You're going to get that schar anyway. He's not going to say tzei zeh b'zeh, that the averos should neutralize the mitzvahs. He's not going to say that. Say, you know what? Averos knock out the mitzvahs. I don't owe you anything anymore. Or averos brought you down in madrega, so you're not going to get that schar mitzvah because you're not capable of receiving it anymore. At the time, you earned a high place in Olam Haba, but you fell from that level, so you can't go and collect your schar because you're not ready to go there and collect. Rosh Hashanah's not going to do that. You know what he's going to do? Right? He's going to give you kapara. He's going to clean you out. He's not going to say, let the averos neutralize your mitzvahs, because you might be left with nothing. He's going to say, no, the averos don't neutralize the mitzvah. You're going to get that schar. I'm going to clean up those averos for you. I'm going to punish you for them, and they're going to be burnt out, and they will no longer be a problem to interfere with, not to neutralize your schar mitzvah, not interfere with you collecting your schar mitzvahs. And that's a tremendous chesed from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because min hadin, he could say the deal is off. Right? Things changed. You changed. You changed. You weren't the same tzaddik you were at the time when you earned the schar. Right? And Ribbon Shel Barov Racham Rav Chasav doesn't call the deal off. He'll give you kapara for how you felt. And that schar will be shamur, safeguarded, that you'll never lose it. Right? And that's what it means, ani havaya, neman l'shalom schar, but also means, on the other hand, neman li-para. You could be sure I'm going to punish you. And that's a big chesed, because the fact that he's going to for sure punish you makes it that the averos won't neutralize your mitzvahs, or won't make you unable to collect your schar mitzvah. So that's why it works both ways. Neman l'shalom schar, you're going to get the schar no matter what. Right? I promised it to you, you're getting it, even though you broke the deal. And things changed. The conditions under which that schar was allotted have changed. You deviated. I'm going to give it to you anyway. But of course, shalote midas hadin loke neman li para. The way I'm going to do it is because I'm going to punish you on those averos and burn them out of your system, and that way they won't ruin your mitzvahs. But that's an amazing thing. That even though the deal is off, the circumstances changed, right? The Baruch will still give you your schar, and that's a tremendous havtacha for Am Yisrael. Right? Yes.
So what's the idea of a scale. It's always given like a scale. They're weighing the mitzvahs against the theirs. What is that?
Right. That's a very good question. Right. That's for your din in olam hazeh.
True, you have to know what you're saying.
I don't think it means
At least according to the Rambam. The Rambam Shita and Hilchos Tshuva, that's all for your din in olam hazeh. We're going to leave you alive or not. But vis-a-vis your olam haba, right? Vis-a-vis your olam haba, whatever you do right, you get olam haba for. Whatever you did wrong, you go to Gehenna for. That which we weigh every year in Rosh Hashanah is what we're going to keep you alive or not in olam hazeh. But whatever you did right, you're supposed to get olam haba for. And whatever you did wrong, you have to get punished for. Right.
What about the concept of ein lo chilek olam haba?
Right. Ein lo chilek olam haba. So
tzaddik his whole life and then lose it, just like that.
that's right. There's no ein refuah l'makasai if he but ein lo chilek olam haba according to the Rambam anyway means you're an atheist, right? You're a kafir. You don't believe in one of the Yud Gimel Ikrim. That's what you have to fall to. Right? But even then, kilo chol rachamav that he could send you back begilgul, etc., etc. Right, but you're right. There's apikarsis is very, very, very severe. Right, but even then, lo chol rachamav to make the guy live again, to be metaken. But but discounting gilgul, there is a limit to No, but the Rebbe Shalom Barov Rachamav does this. Generally, apikarsis is just something very, very severe. You've committed spiritual suicide. There's nothing left of you. You go to Olam Haba, you lose your immortality. It's spiritual suicide, right? But a person who hasn't committed spiritual suicide, he has what he does right, he has what he does wrong. HaKadosh can easily say min adin, say zeh bezeh. Right? You're not the same tzaddik you were at the time you did the mitzvah, right? And HaKadosh doesn't do that. Right?
So to his wisdom, the same thing.
Right. And it's even greater on a national scale. It's even towards every individual, on which it says, You're going to get that schar no matter how many Aveiros you did. But of course, the flip side is Ani Hashem Neman Lipora, because there's a mechanics to it. I'm not going to say let them neutralize each other and I'm out of it. No, I'm going to punish you for the Aveiros so your mitzvahs remain intact. Right. Right. But that's even in the individual. But then there's the national, right? When he makes the haftacha to us as an am, right? Right. So now, God forbid, sometimes we don't make the grade. I mean, that's Hashem Yerachim, right? That is the basis of Christianity. Am Yisrael sinned and we fell out of grace. And we were exchanged for another ummah. That's their own. That's it. Fair is fair. Right. Okay. Right.
They're wonderful.
Right. So.
They're so wonderful because they believe in Yeshua.
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing more. Nothing more. We believe in God. They believe in Yeshua.
Right. But so getting to the point, that the inyan of the Shem Havaya that's being nizgala over here, right? Is that which is with the Geula, that with the v'lakachti eschem li la'am, v'lakachti eschem li la'am, right? Is being megal Shem Havaya because it's being done with that koach, right? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu taking us as a nation is being done with His infinite power, and that way there's no way to dissolve it. He's not making a business deal. Business deals are dissolvable.
We said that was part of Shakai too.
Okay.
Started off by saying kill Shakai.
All right. So now we're going to go and analyze the difference between Kel Shakai and Havaya, and we'll understand also why the others they got their Avtachas in Kel Shakai. Why not Kodesh? Was Kodesh stingy? He intends to be Mekayim those Havtachas anyway.
Kill Shakai could be.
So let's get into what Kel Shakai means. Let's get into what Kel Shakai means. Let's get into what Kel Shakai means, and it'll be Nifla mode, and you'll see, and we'll also explain why the others, because they were individuals, they had to get their Avtachas B'Kel Shakai, even though HaKadosh Hu really meant Havaya. because we now with the Shem Havaya, with this he intends to make up what he promised them. So he always really meant Havaya. Right?
They understood Kel Shakai, but he was really saying Havaya.
Yes. Because now he's going to make it true. And it's called, that's what the Gili of the Shem Havaya, make it all that true. All those, and we're going to explain it all. Right? The Indian of Kel Shakai. I got Sheyesh Li Dai. Or Ani Kedai. I'm worthy, but also the root of the word Kedai is die. I got what it takes. I got what it takes. I have enough. Meaning, like Hamlacha Haisa Dayom Lekol Hamlacha V'Haiser. The Melacha of the Mishkan was enough. They filled the quota. But you're still in Midas. You're still in measures. Right? Midah, even if I fill the measure, a whole quart, a whole liter, it still has its gvul. That makes it a liter, and not more than a liter.
It's also part of die. Same word.
What? Die.
You didn't die.
Die. I got what it takes. I mean, I'll fill the measure. The measure won't be lacking. But you're still in measures. You're still in midas. And that's, any contractual agreement is, if it's a fair deal, it's supposed to be mida, keneged, mida. Measure for measure. But it's only this measure for measure. He's not meant to pay 1 cent more, and I'm not meant to supply 1 bit less. Right? And it's all true within the midas, or within the parameters of the understanding of the contract. It's all bamida, it's all bigvul. Nothing here is infinite. So of course you got to have die, you got to fill the measure. You have to have enough to fill but you're filling measures. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is never going to give you a bum steer that he promises you a gallon and he only gave you half a gallon. No, he'll fill the measure. Yesh lo dai. He's got what it takes. He has enough. He's got what. Yesh lo dai belokus. You have enough divinity. I could deliver, man. Whatever I said kach v'kach amount. I got enough to deliver. I'm not missing anything. But still, you're still in the world of measures. You're still in a world of measures. You're not dealing in infinity. So you have enough, right? You have enough, and I won't shortchange you. Won't come up short, but it's not going to be infinite either. It's going to be mida keneged mida. And if you break your end of the bargain, the whole thing's off. That's how business works, which is all beside mida keneged mida, and it's all in midas. It's only true within certain parameters. Not only just the buyer and seller have to come up with equal value, what he's selling and what he's buying it with, but it's also there's all the terms and conditions of the contract, and the whole contract is only true within those midas, right, of the terms and conditions. One thing's off, the whole thing's off. Right? So of course, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I got what it takes. Don't worry about it. I won't shortchange you, but it doesn't mean that it's infinite either. I have die. I got enough. You don't got to worry about me not having enough power to deliver. I could deliver. But I'm going to deliver exactly what we said, and you also, from your side, your end of the bargain. Your midah keneged my midah, but I'll fill the midah.
It's conditional.
Conditional. Just like it's not infinite, so also it's not infinite in every way imaginable. That's it's conditional. Only true within certain parameters.
Is that pshat as to why Yaakov was afraid from Esau? Because he felt that his Averos...
Yes, Shem Agor Machet, correct. That's right, that's exactly that. Because in Midah Keneged Midah, Shem Agor Machet, that's right. But that's not true if God would have sent a prophecy to an Am, so the Rambam says, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu delivers no matter what. Even if they're Chayte, Nevuah L'Toiva is never Choser Rekam, but this wasn't a Nevuah, to the people. This was a private deal between Yaakov and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, says the Rambam. But if Yaakov had been commanded to say that Nevuah over, he would have had nothing to worry about. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he makes promises publicly, delivers no matter what. Right? But this wasn't public. It was something private between him and Yaakov. So Yaakov thought, because it's a private deal, Shema go yigro machet. Right? Correct. Right? But a nevuah to an am, never Chosa Rekom, which is another indication of what we're talking about. Right? Private deals, you have to assume are in a Mida Keneged Mida framework. Even Haftacha could be mitkalkel, Shema Yerucheh, but that's in private deals. You send a nevuah to the people, or you're dealing with on a national scale, then HaKadosh will kicks in with the Shema Vaeira, and it's done with infinite power. Right? So now, when Rosh Shiva Zechor Livracha, Yaakov Wamri used to point out, HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't, he didn't give the Torah to the others. He held back until Am Yisrael was an Am. The others would have loved to have the Torah, because they kept the mitzvahs even voluntarily, and they would have loved to have been Gadol Mitzvah V'Isa and Mishenu Mitzvah V'Isa, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't give it to them. They would have loved to have it. Why? HaKadosh Baruch Hu waited till after Am Yisrael was Yotzei Mitzrayim, B'Soid Am V'Lakatzchem Lilam, and then to them he gave the Torah. So Rosh Hashanah says a very, I'm sure it's already in the Rishonim, right? Because a bris olam you can't make with individuals. A eternal covenant you can't make with individuals. Because the individual cannot be the recipient of an eternal promise or something that's eternal or infinite, because he's here today and gone tomorrow. An am never dies. A tzibur never dies. That's what the Gemara says. Halacha l'maaseh, Gemara and Tzmura. And yatayachol lomar bechatas tzibur shemesa she'ein tzibur mesid. A tzibur doesn't die, because all the doros are all part of the same tzibur. The Torah is a bris olam. It's eternal. It's also Torah lo teh muchlefes, lo teh Torah acheres, also an unchristian idea, right? The Torah will never change. It's forever and ever and ever. It's Morasha Kilos Yaakov, Ma Yerusha En Lo Hefsek. So also the Torah has no Hefsek. Right? It's forever. Right? And it's of infinite power. Yechidim are not recipients, not receptacles, they're not kli kibul for something that's infinite. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu wasn't being stingy. No, but until they're nishtachlo besod am. What? Yaakov made a little mess. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Right. But Yaakov Avinu alone is not an am. His koach is mitpashed in the whole am, but he himself is not an am. Right. Let's put it this way: Yaakov Avinu lo mess in retrospect. Once Am Yisrael became an am, and an am can never die. So, in retrospect, Yaakov Avinu lo mess. Right. Right. So the Torah is only for an am. Right? The others were yechidim. A yachid is here today and gone tomorrow. So to a yachid, for the promise to be fair and to make sense, he is here today and gone tomorrow. His life is very much b'mida, measured out. It's 175 years, 180 years, right? So the Haftachas also have to be made, if you make your Haftacha to a Yachid, you got to talk his language, right? Kel Shakai, right? But HaKadosh Baruch Hu always meant Havaya, right? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that which he put things b'mida, was not out of stinginess, because we know that, the inyan that we have to do mitzvahs is that it shouldn't be Nahama de Kisufa, right? We won't be able to look the Shekhinah in the face if we didn't work for it, right? But if you're dealing with infinite power, and infinity cannot be added to or detracted from. So if we're dealing directly with infinity, right? There's nothing you could do to earn infinity, right? And there's nothing you could do to detract from infinity, right? But we're supposed to do that. We accomplish something. We added to the world, or we detracted from the world, right? And that's the side, says the Ramchal on the Mishnah, the Ramchal on the Das Tvunas, right? On the Mishnah, V'alo b'maimer echad yacholi baros. The world could be created with one utterance, magic. Let there be a world. But of course we didn't do it that way. Asar mamars, Yehi Or, and then Yehi Rakia, Tzubislach, in pieces. And why says the Mishnah? Let's say Schar Tov Lat Tzadikim, V'Ipar B'Rishayim. Says the Ramchal like this: if the world would have not been created b'midas, right, in quantities, we wouldn't be able to affect the world, and there would be no earning of schar, and of course no deserving of ownership, but the ikar is there would be no earning of schar, and that's the whole point. Right, so the world had to be created in units, asar mamros, and not in one magical maimer echad that would be above all gvul. That with one word, the whole world was created. Right, it means just magic. A magical world is not a world that I could affect. A world made up of units is a world I can add to or detract from. So schar tolotzakim shemakaimim olam, v'liprosham shema'abdim olam. But that's all in the chitzonius of it. Don't you get it? That in the chitzonius of it we have a kinyan, but in the pnimius we're still getting Ein Sof. Think about this for a second, right? You would say, mida keneged mida, right? That you shook lulav on sukkahs, you get a certain chelik in olam haba. Right? The Rambam says even one mitzvah done once lishma, b'shleimus, is already zachal olam haba. One mitzvah alone could earn olam haba if it's done, with all the right. Just one mitzvah alone, if it's done lishma with no ulterior motives. Does that make sense? The mitzvah of lulav, right? It took you a minute to do, shake in all directions, and now that you got it from someone else, matana manas la'achzer, you didn't even pay for it, and you could get schar nitzchi, something that took you 5 minutes to do or less, right, and didn't even cost you any money. Where's the mida keneged mida? I invested 5 minutes, and I got eternal reward. So of course we talk, very loosely, allegorically, how it'll be somehow parallel to the mitzvah that you did, but it's very loose and allegorical. How this sug of olam haba, this sug shefa, is parallel to the mitzvah of lulav, as opposed to that shefa that also lasts forever, which is parallel to the mitzvah of matzah and Pesach. But you're just making philosophical parallels. But it still breaks the law of mida keneged mida, because the mitzvah took you a minute, matzah and Pesach, so you gobble it in 4 minutes. The machmir, the only 4 minutes, right? 2 minutes for each kazayas, but it took you 4 minutes. You can get schar forever, right? But yet there is some type of parallel. But the parallel is all just a philosophical parallel. You get a certain type of olam haba for a certain type of mitzvah, but that olam haba lasts forever, and the mitzvah only took a minute. So there is mida keneged mida, but yet there isn't. That means hiding within the midas is infinite power. That yes, I made a kinyan, and I got this shefa that I rightfully earned, but in the pnimius of it is koach ein sof. That the Rebbe wants to do an amazing thing. Give us the ability to change the world, but only klape chutz, and hiding within those midas is schar nitzchi, koach nitzchi. So as even the mahalach of kel shakai that was mitzamtzim everything was for our good, to give us a chance to earn. Right? But there was no gilui for the koach of Havaya until Am Yisrael become an Am. Right? Because an Am is a unit that could be a receptacle for a bris olam, for something eternal. A yachid can't, because yachid is here today and gone tomorrow. So a gilui of a bris olam you can't have with a yachid. Because this guy you made a bris on with is gone tomorrow. An Am is always here. An Am doesn't die. But even the malach of kel shaka is only klape chutz, to give us a handle. But once you grab on, you get a handle. You have a kinyan. You have a kinyan in infinity, because hiding behind the midas is infinity. And Rebbe Moshe wants to be mative and give us infinite good, and yet he put it in a framework. Infinite power put in the framework so we could have a kinyan in it also, and it shouldn't be namada kisufa. And that's what it means, that the olam be'etzem is of infinite power.
But nations did die, only the Jewish nation is nitzchi.
Of course.
Totally.
Yes, absolutely.
Just because Mashiach will come in, and everyone else, all their umos will be gone.
No, but seriously, civilizations have collapsed.
Yeah, but Asaph
He said, he's pointing out that even this idea of ain't Sibor Mesim seemingly is only Mekuyim by Klal Yisrael. Because we see civilizations have collapsed.
Shmuel and Asaph are still around.
Ishmael and Asa still around. But the Shiva Umos, the Rambam already passes Kfar Avad Zichram, there's no din to kill them. They're already intermarried. It's called the Ummah is bottle. So if you could do a DNA test, there's still no chiyuv to kill him. because the Am already was Nizbato and intermarried with other Umais. So, Tzvi's point out very interesting. This idea that an Am can't die seemingly is only actualized by Am Yisrael because we got the Torah. But the Am is a befitting receptacle for Bris Olam. The other Umas don't have a Bris Olam, so even though they're an Am, they could still die. Correct.
Is Amalek included in the Sheva Umos?
No, he's not. Amalek is different, but we have to
Meaning,
wait for Purim.
Even if there is
That's right. Amalek is
kind of
different.
part DNA, that's all.
Yes, yes.
Right, but it's,
Amalek is different. Amalek is
varies.
different.
I mean, it's not one particular nation or DNA.
Exactly.
It's whoever is the particular enemy of the cause.
It's the ideology. Amalek is an ideology. Amalek is not
The
a.
Nazis clearly are Amalek.
Amalek is an ideology.
They even view themselves as Amalek.
Anti-Semitism is Amalek.
Yeah. Well, but what it's the type of anti-Semitism that all of a sudden people get like hypnotized and the whole nation goes crazy, goes berserk. Besod rachis goyim Amalek. He takes over the mind of all nations. That klipa that could take over the mind of a whole am, that's Amalek. So it wanders from nation to nation. Was in Parsamada, went to Germany. It's a klipa. It's a virus. Amalek is a virus.
Then Ishmael is Amalek.
What? Yes. But yes, a lot of people said it'd be a menu, mamash, kale seir v'chotno. Their father-in-law and son-in-law, that there was now a real zivug between, in the ISIS is a zivug. It's mamash the zivug of Yishmael plus Esav, plus Amalek. A lot of people have said that. They were always meant to have that type of zivug, because they're father-in-law and son. Yeah, father-in-law and son-in-law. Most of the time they fight like father-in-law and son-in-law, but they also have Hashem Yirachem, the potential to get along, and the big loser are the Jewish people when they're nizdavek together. Okay, sir. Right. So this is what it means that Haya Olam, the Olam was expanding infinitely, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu from the outside, externally, Garba V'Amalodai. That means in the Pnimius, it's Ein Sof. And in the Chitzonius, in the external layer of reality, if you could say that, that's where the Gvulim are. But the Gvulim are on the external, right, for the purpose of giving us a chance to do business, Mida Keneged Mida. But in the previous, when you do the mitzvah, you mamash rakona infinity. Because behind that Mida, which was Keneged your Mida, behind that Mida is infinite power. That's how you get infinite schar for one mitzvah. So even though schar somehow philosophically Mida Keneged Mida, but in quantity, it's not quantitatively Mida Keneged Mida, it's infinite. So you just had the midas kihechi to have a kinyan. I'm being koina, I'm giving this in return for that. To have a kinyan, it shouldn't be namada kisufa, but what's hiding behind his midas is infinite power. Besides, as the Mishnah says, there's Esther spheres midasam ein lemsof. The Esther spheres, which are besod yasar mamash olam, you want to measure them, infinite. They're 10 units, infinite power. 10 units, but it's only units klape chutz, klape pnim. There's ein sof, that's the atzmus, that's mispashed in the spheres, and kaidu the shem avais connected the atzmus, that's mispashed in the spheres, as opposed to the other dvaris which are connected the kalim, the gvulim. The shem avais connected the etzim infinite power that permeates all God's midas. Right? And over here he wants to reveal that infinite power. Right? To make it very clear that taking Am Yisrael as an Am will be beside Koach Ein Sofi, which makes it that it's inseverable. It's unconditional. And that's why it's emes, midah amitis, unconditionally true. Every other truth is a conditional truth. Only true within these boundaries, only true with these understandings, only true given these conditions. This is called the midah ha'amitis, right? His absolute true, because it's true under all circumstances, all the time. Absolute truth. Right? So now the Rebbe Elimelech in the Noam Elimelech, this week's parsha, says a brilliant mashal for this from the Tzelem Elokim. The Shakai, She'amar Lo Modai, to put it b'mida. So Yaakov said, just like he also said, tell my tzaras die. Enough. Where we find this, what in the Tzelem Elokim is called Shadayim. the breasts of a woman that she's manik the tinok with. So says the Rebbe of Melch in this week's parsha, no Melch. Right, Vaidabra Elokim Moshe. Right, Vayimalav Ani Havaya. Right, even though Elokim is Midas, and but Ani Havaya. Right, he says it's just like the shadayim of a woman, that really there's more milk than the kid can take. But the shadayim have a very thin hole, and it comes out b'mida. Right? If not for that, thin hole that the milk comes out through, the kid would choke. The kid would be swamped. And that's a mashal that Koshko wants to be meinik us ein sof, but we wouldn't be able to take it if it wouldn't be b'mida. It has to be b'mida for us to be able to be makabel it. It also has to be b'mida certainly for us to earn it. And that's the right. And that's right. Oh, and I see chap to what I was going. In the future, say varikosechem brocha ad belidai. Ad shivu sechem belidai. Your lips will wear out saying die, die, die. It's going to be infinite, not going to be die. But in olam hazeh it has to be die, because otherwise, because we have to build up the kalim to be able to be makabel it. So it has to be b'mida for us to handle with it now and to make a kinyan in it. But then after it's going to be ad belidai. Belidai. And this is the koch that hiding behind the midas is koch ein sofi. Is what HaKadosh wants to reveal by Yetzias Mitzrayim, to make it very clear that Am Yisrael's, as an Am, is being taken unconditionally and with infinite power. That's a gili that's not shaykh to the others, because they were yechidim. As great as they were yechidim. A bris olam. A yochid cannot be a kli kibo for infinite power. Because there's no reciprocity, because he's here today and gone tomorrow. He's only one guy. An Am has the potential, mikoach the bris, to be a kli kibo for a bris olam. So that's why he made the promises to the others, on their level, kel shakai. But now all those things that I made to the others, but kel shakai, that's saying hiftachti v'lo kiyamti, right? They are now going to be right, and the lo kiyamti and b'mezid lo kiyamti. Because I want to be Mekayim it with the Shem Havaya Baruch Hu. I don't want to be Mekayim it within the realm and within the framework of Kel Shakai, because if the whole deal will follow through within Kel Shakai, it means it's severable. If it's a Mida, connected Mida, mamish, literally, you sever your end of the bargain, I'm off the hook. And of course, who wants a bris olam, that means it'll be unconditional and infinite. That's only with an Am. But not only that, the haftachas that he made to us, Bekel Shaka, he's waiting till Am Yisrael will be an Am, and will be Mekayim all those haftachas with the Shem Havaya. And that way, the haftach, and that's for their benefit. They gain by the fact that it wasn't Mekuyim in their days. Because it will be Mekuyim in their days, it will be Begetter Kel Shakai, it means it will be severable. Wait till Am Yisrael's beside Am and fulfill all those promises of the Shem Havaya, and then it's forever and ever and ever. Right?
Bris Milah. It's called the Bris Olam, no? Bris Milah. That's Covenant. Is that Covenant Sibur? Where is the Bris Milah done?
Well, Bris Milah by Korbanos.
Yeah.
Right.
It's called the Bris Olam. So is it? That's the reason Melech, because it never gets destroyed.
That's right, Melech, right.
So does that have anything to do with what you're talking about?
I'm sure it does. Just the opposite. You have a kashanis. Where are the korbanos now? Right, but it's that's the point. Since we have it, the korbanos haven't ceased. They're just in recess because we're still the same nation. If that nation is dead and we're different nations, so the korbanos are over. But the fact that we're all the same Am, so it's called that it had a recess, but it's not called that it was severed.
Now we daven.
What?
We daven instead.
That's it. No, that's it. And that's the emun of Mashiach. The Rosh Yeshiva used to always say, when we bring in our Savior, the emun of Mashiach is that we're still in Am. Waiting for our king, it means that our nationhood was never bottled.
No, did you heard the Toynbee. You listened to the Toynbee debates, right?
No, I haven't had a chance to
Oh,
listen
you
to
didn't
full.
listen to any of them? Herzog was so superior to Toynbee.
Yeah.
Toynbee's like literally an idiot.
Uh-huh.
Herzog, so strong. Even his voice and his diction, everything about him was so confident. And the other guy was like mousy. I thought you heard it because you sent it to me.
Yeah. I immediately sent it to you when someone who heard the shir sent it to me. I immediately forwarded it to you.
Oh, what is this?
As you mentioned this in Parshas Vayechi, the debate between Yaakov Herzog and Toynbee.
Yeah.
He called us a fossil.
So he sent me all the links.
Yeah.
I listened to every one.
Those recordings?
It's recorded on YouTube, not a video, audio.
Yeah.
Audio, only audio, yeah.
No, this was before the age of video, Mistama.
Right.
You get all the
When
audios.
was it? In the early 1900s?
It was 1960
Oh.
something.
No, it's before the video machine. Yeah.
Because Eretz Yisrael was not very old, 10 years old, maybe 11 years old. But he was already accusing them of being Nazis. Even then, could you imagine? He's accusing Israel of being Nazis because what they were doing, so-called, to the Palestinians, driving them out, sending away from their lands. He accused them of that one incident where they supposedly killed a certain number of Palestinians in that city there. I forgot what was it called? So it's the only one they ever talk about because people say it's false. The whole thing is false. They didn't kill out the whole city. There were several Palestinians they killed. They weren't called Palestinians in those days.
Yeah.
They're called Arabs.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a Palestinian. That's a later invention. Everything they do is false. Everything. Talk about MS. Everything the Arabs do is false. And the Western world foolishly accepts everything on faith because they hate Israel. They hate the Jews. So they're willing to accept everything.
All right, so this is the Gilu of Parshas Vaeira. Kadosh Baruch Hu begins revealing the Shema Vaeira, which is the Koach. It's the infinite power to show Am Yisrael was taken, and given a Torah, that to have the Lasei Slem Lenachla, the Koach, the infinite power of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is just like it's infinite, it's also unconditional, and that's why Netzach Yisrael lo yishaker. Kilo ben Adam hu li'isnachem. Ribosh will never change his mind about having chosen us, because he took us, with this koach of his infinity and gave us the Torah. On that basis, and that also explains the koach that there is in Torah. Torah is not, even though it's in a framework of midah keneged midah, Torah has in its previous the Shema Vayeh, and that's why Torah is a world. It's a reality changer. It's a reality changer. Yes, but it's also, that's why. But the Naaman Lifroa is, the Navi says, Hafti as a rakes chem yadati mikol shchoto al ken efkod alechem kol sechem. Navi says it's because I love you more than all the family. That's why I'm makbid to punish you for all your sins, and I don't look the other way. It's to clean us up, so the mitzvahs remain eternal. So you have schar nitzchi. All right, this is what we want to explain.